Maybe your brain is not broken. Maybe you are the one damaging it every day. You wake up and grab your phone. Before sleeping, you compare your life with others. You check notifications hundreds of times, and then you ask, why is my focus gone? You have been feeding your brain junk food and expecting genius results. The real question is not how to train your brain. The real question is, when will you stop ruining it? She whispered, do you ever feel like your mind is always running? He said, every single day, like it never stops. Like there are 50 tabs open, and you didn't even open most of them. Yes, exactly like that. And I don't know how to close them. She was quiet for a second. Then she said, I used to think I was weak, that something was wrong with me. But nothing was wrong with you, he said softly. No, something was wrong with what I kept giving my brain. He looked at her. What do you mean? I mean, I was the problem, not my brain. She said, you know what I did this morning? Tell me. I woke up, and before I even said good morning to myself, I was already on my phone. He nodded slowly. Me too, every morning. And it's not even anything important, just scrolling, just noise, just other people's lives moving past my eyes. And somehow it makes you feel behind, like everyone is doing something and you are just watching. Yes, like you already lost a day and it hasn't even started. She pulled her knees to her chest, and then I wonder why I can't focus, why my thoughts feel scattered. Because they are scattered, he said quietly. You scattered them yourself, first thing in the morning. I read something once, that the brain is not weak, it is overstimulated. There's a difference? A huge one. Weak means broken. Overstimulated means overloaded. Too much coming in, not enough space. He thought about that, like a room with too much furniture. Exactly. You can't move, you can't breathe, but the room isn't broken. It's just too full. So we keep filling it, he said. Every day, every hour. Background music while we work, a podcast while we eat, a show while we fall asleep. Never silence, he said. Never real silence. He said, I remember the last time I was actually bored. When? I don't even remember. That's the point. She laughed softly. We've forgotten what boredom feels like. We run from it. The second it starts, we reach for something, anything, because it feels uncomfortable. Boredom feels like failure somehow. But it's not, is it? She shook her head. Boredom is where the brain finally breathes. It's where real thoughts come from. The deep ones, the honest ones. He was quiet. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Neither have I, she said softly. And I miss it. I miss thinking clearly. Can I tell you something embarrassing? Always. I check my phone for notifications even when I know there are none, even when I just checked 30 seconds ago. He smiled. That's not embarrassing. That's everyone. It shouldn't be everyone. No, it shouldn't. She said, I looked it up once. The average person checks their phone over 200 times a day. 200, he repeated. And each time, you're not just checking your phone, you're interrupting yourself. You're breaking your own concentration and then wondering why you can't concentrate. He said, right, we create the problem, then we search for solutions to the problem we created. He leaned back. I think I'm addicted to notifications, not to the message, to the feeling before it. She said, what do you mean? That little moment of possibility before you open it. That tiny rush. Maybe it's something good. Maybe someone needs me. Maybe something exciting happened. He stared at the ceiling. And most of the time, it's nothing. But your brain already got the hit, already felt the spike, and now it wants another one. That's dopamine, he said. That's dopamine addiction, she corrected gently. And the worst part, she said, is that the anxiety comes from the same place. What do you mean? You send a message, and then you wait. And while you wait, you feel it. This low, buzzing worry. Did they see it? Did I say something wrong? Why haven't they replied? Yes, all of that. From one message, he said. I've lost hours to that feeling. Me too. Watching those little dots appear and disappear, it feels so small when you say it out loud. But it doesn't feel small when you're living it, she said. It feels huge. It feels like everything. I think the real enemy isn't distraction, he said slowly. What is it then? It's the comfort of distraction. The fact that it feels good to be distracted. She nodded. It's easier to scroll than to sit with yourself. Easier to watch someone else's life than to look at your own. And I did that for years, she admitted. I didn't even realize I was running. Running from what? She was quiet. From my own thoughts. You know what happens when you take the phone away? She asked. What? The thoughts come back. And they're not always kind. He looked at her. That's the scary part. That's exactly the scary part. When it gets quiet, the mind gets loud. All the things you push down, all the feelings you covered with noise, they're still there, she said, waiting. And that's why people never detox, because the quiet is terrifying, but the quiet is also where the healing is. She said, I tried a digital detox once, just one day. No phone, no screen. How was it? Horrible. For the first 3 hours, he laughed quietly. And then something shifted. I noticed things, small things. The way light moves through the window, the sound of the street, my own breathing. You were present. I was present, and it felt strange because I hadn't been present in so long. We live our lives somewhere else, in the past through memories, in the future through worry, in other people's lives through their screens, but never just here. Never just here, he echoed. I want to ask you something, he said. Ask, if there were no results for months, no progress you could see, no improvement you could measure, would you still be disciplined? She didn't answer right away. That's a hard question. I know. I want to say yes, but honestly, I don't know. Most people wouldn't. And that's the truth nobody says out loud. We want the focus. We want the clear mind. We want the genius level thinking, but we want it fast. We want to feel it working. And brain training doesn't work like that, she said. No. It's the most boring, invisible work you'll ever do. He said, I tried sitting still for 10 minutes once. Just 10 minutes. No phone, no music, nothing. How did it go? I lasted 4 minutes. Then I made myself a coffee I didn't even want, just to have something to do. She smiled, because 4 minutes of nothing felt unbearable. It felt like I was wasting time, but you weren't. I know that now. Now I understand that those 4 minutes were probably the most useful thing I did that day. Because your brain was finally quiet, she said. Because my brain was finally getting a break from me. Here's what I think, she said. Negative thoughts don't come from nowhere. Where do they come from? They come from the emotions you never let out. He frowned slightly. What do you mean? Anger you swallowed, grief you skipped, hurt you smiled through. It all goes somewhere. And it comes back as thoughts. Dark ones, sudden ones, the kind that scare you because they feel so real. And we call it anxiety, he said. Sometimes, but sometimes it's just suppression, just old feelings with nowhere to go. I had a thought last year, he said quietly, a dark one, out of nowhere. Tell me. I was sitting in traffic and suddenly this thought just appeared, this horrible, ugly thought, and I panicked. Because you thought it meant something about you. Yes, I thought something was wrong with me. But the thought appearing doesn't mean anything, she said gently. It's what you do with it. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to run from it. You just let it be there, she said gently. You watch it, like a cloud passing. And it passes? Always. It always passes. That's what meditation does, isn't it? It's one thing it does. It teaches you to observe, not to react. To see the thought without becoming the thought. Yes, and that is harder than anything. Harder than any workout. Harder than any discipline. Because your mind is loud, he said. Your mind is very loud when you first get quiet. And most people give up before it calms down. Because it takes time, real time. Not a week, not a month. But the ones who stay through it, she said, they come out different. He said, tell me about friction. What about it? You mentioned once that the brain needs friction, not comfort. She nodded. We think the brain grows when things are easy, but it doesn't. It grows when things are hard. Not painful, but hard, uncomfortable. The kind of task that makes you want to quit. Like what? He asked. Like reading a difficult book without highlighting every sentence. Like sitting through a boring meeting without checking your phone. Like listening to someone fully, without planning your reply while they're still talking. He said, I do that. I'm always preparing my answer. So you're never really hearing, she said softly. I'm just waiting for my turn. Yes, and you miss everything in between. She did an experiment, she said. What kind? I put my phone in another room while I worked, just one room away. And my focus changed completely. Not because I used the phone less, but because I couldn't feel it near me. The presence of it is enough to distract you, he said. The potential of it, the knowing it's there. Your brain keeps one eye on it even when you're not touching it. So distance is discipline, he said. Distance is the first discipline, and it sounds so small, but it changes everything, he said. It changes everything. She asked, "Do you know what boring task feels like?" Boring, he said, smiling. Yes, but I mean really sit in it. A task with no reward at the end, no excitement, no outcome to look forward to. Like sorting old files. Or cleaning slowly. Or reading without taking notes. My mind screams during those, he said. Mine too. It looks for an exit. Any exit. But if you stay, she said, something happens after a while. The screaming gets quieter, and you're just doing the thing. You're just doing the thing. No resistance, no battle, just presence. He was silent for a moment. That's what focus actually feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. Not excitement, just presence. People think focus feels like power, she said. But it feels like calm, he said. It feels like very deep calm, like everything slowed down. Not because things got slower, but because you stopped rushing. You stopped trying to be somewhere else. He looked at her. We spend so much time trying to be somewhere else. In a better mood, in a better year, in a better version of our life. And in trying to get there, we miss what's right here. Right here, she whispered. I want to tell you something I've never said to anyone, she said. I'm listening. I used to be afraid of my own mind, like genuinely afraid. Afraid of what it would say if I got too quiet? Yes, afraid that if I stopped distracting myself, I would have to face things. What things? Old disappointments. Things I wanted that didn't come. People who left. Choices I regret. He nodded slowly. The archive. Yes, the archive. All that stored pain. And scrolling was the way to not open it. Scrolling, binge watching, staying busy, always staying busy. Because busy meant safe, but not free, she said quietly. Never free. He said, the mind is like a muscle, they say. Everyone says that. But they forget the rest, that muscles don't grow during the workout. They grow during rest. She looked at him. Say that again. They grow during rest. The workout is just a damage. The real growth happens in the quiet after. So the silence isn't wasted time. The silence is where the work gets done. And we've been afraid of the silence. We've been running from the very thing that would heal us. He said, I think we've confused stimulation with living. Yes, we think if we feel something, we are living. And if nothing is happening, we are wasting time. But the deepest living happens in the in-between, she said. In the pause, in the breath, in the moment that has no label. The moments we scroll through because they don't look like anything. But they are everything, she said. Those quiet moments are where you actually know yourself. And when you don't know yourself, you follow anything, you believe anything, you become anything. He asked, what does consuming less actually mean, practically? It means choosing what goes into your mind the same way you choose what goes into your body. You wouldn't eat from a trash can, but you'll let hours of meaningless content pour into your head because it's free and easy. And the cost doesn't show up right away, she said. It shows up in your attention span, in your creativity, in the way you talk to yourself, in how hard it is to just sit, in how much you need noise just to function. He exhaled slowly. I need noise just to function. I know, most of us do now. Observe more, she said softly. What do you mean? Look at things without immediately making them into content, without filming them, without sharing them. Just look. Just look. Let the thing be the thing. Let the sunset be a sunset. Not a story, not a post. He was quiet. I filmed the sunrise last week, and while filming, I missed it. You were there, but you weren't there. I have a video of a sunrise I never actually saw. She reached over and touched his hand. That's what we're losing, real experience. Because we're always one step removed from it, always behind a screen, always packaging the moment instead of living it. Embrace discomfort, she said. I know how that sounds. It sounds like advice from someone who's never been really uncomfortable. I know, but I mean small discomfort, chosen discomfort, like sitting with boredom, like choosing the harder version of a task, like letting yourself be bored in line instead of pulling out your phone, like finishing a conversation before checking who called, like reading one chapter before bed instead of watching one more episode. Small things, he said. Small things that train something big, slowly, invisibly. She said, give your mind silence, real silence. Not just no phone, but no inner noise too. Yes, not just quiet outside, but quiet inside. And how do you get quiet inside? You stop arguing with your thoughts. You stop negotiating with them. You let them come, you let them go. Like visitors who didn't call ahead, he said. She laughed softly. Exactly. You don't have to serve them tea. You don't have to give them a bed. Just let them knock and pass. And the more you practice, the quieter it gets inside. Not because the thoughts stop coming, but because you stop being afraid of them. He said, I want to be honest with you. Please. I don't want to go back to the way I was. I don't want to be that distracted person anymore. The one who was always somewhere else. Yes, the one who was in the same room but mentally miles away. I want to actually be here. Here with you. Here with my own thoughts. Here in my own life. She looked at him with soft eyes. That's the most powerful thing you can want. More than success? Success without presence is just noise, she said. You achieve things and feel nothing because you were never really there when they happened. He said, do you think genius is real? Like real natural genius? I think potential is real. I think clarity is rare. And clarity comes from what? From a trained mind. Not a smart mind, a trained one. Trained through what? Through exactly what we've been talking about. Through silence, through boredom, through presence, through putting down the phone and picking up your actual life. The genius isn't in how much you consume, she said. It's in how deeply you can think. And deep thinking needs space. Space you have to protect. Space you have to fight for. Because everything in the world wants a piece of your attention. She said, every notification is a small demand. A tiny voice saying, look at me. And you look. Every time you look, you give a little piece of your focus away. And by the end of the day, you have nothing left. Nothing for the things that matter. Nothing for the people sitting right in front of you. Nothing for your own thoughts. He said, I gave my best attention to strangers online. And nothing to yourself? Nothing to myself. That stops, she said quietly. That can stop, if you choose it. Is it too late to train your brain back after all the damage? The brain is not like glass. It doesn't shatter and stay shattered. It changes. It adapts. It's called neuroplasticity. It means the brain can rebuild. But only if you give it what it needs. Silence, challenge, rest, presence. Not magic, not supplements, not hacks. Just the basics. The boring, unsexy basics. He smiled. The ones nobody wants to hear about. Because they're not exciting. They don't make good content. But they make good minds, he said. They make the clearest, deepest, most focused minds. She said, I read something that stayed with me. Tell me. Genius grows in quiet, not in noise. He let that sit for a moment. Every great thinker, every great creator, they all had one thing in common. They protected their attention. They built walls around their focus. They said no to 100 distractions so they could say yes to one deep thought. And we've done the opposite, she said. We've said yes to everything, and now we can't say anything worth saying. She said, I want to leave you with something. Yes, not advice, not a list, just a feeling. What feeling? The feeling of a mind that is finally clear, finally yours. Imagine that, he said softly. Your thoughts moving slow and clean like water. No clutter, no noise, no borrowed anxiety from 100 strangers on a screen. Just you, just your own voice, strong and steady. Knowing what you want, knowing what you think, knowing who you are. That's not a dream, she said. That's the default. That's what you were before the noise got in. He said, and we can get back there. We can get back there. Not by trying harder, by doing less, consuming less, scrolling less, reacting less, and being more, present more, still more, patient more. The mind is waiting. Your real mind, the one underneath all the noise. It's been waiting a long time. It hasn't given up on you. You just have to get quiet enough to hear it. He whispered, I'm going to try. Me too, she said. Not perfectly, never perfectly, but honestly, she agreed. One quiet moment at a time. One less notification. One more breath. One real thought. One true presence. She leaned close. Your brain is not broken. It never was. You just have to stop breaking it. And then watch what it becomes. Watch what you become. In the quiet. In the still. In the space you finally give yourself. That is where the genius lives. That is where you live. When you finally stop running from yourself.